If you'd like to make your own chocolate for your loved one this year, your own chocolate candies like I'm going to, you pay too much for those molded chocolates. But the key here is tempering chocolate correctly. If you want to use a mold like this is a clear candy mold, you can't just melt chocolate in the microwave because the crystalline structure of the chocolate is very delicate, needs to come back together so that your candy is hard and crunchy, not soupy and sticky. And tempering chocolate is the key. And today, talking about tempering chocolate. It's not just melting chocolate, and this is an important difference. If you just take chocolate and put it in your microwave and melt it indiscriminately, well sure, you could probably pour it out on something, but did you ever notice it never gets hard and crispy again? Never comes back together to coat something in a hard shell? That's because chocolate is a very sensitive thing, and I don't have time to talk about all the chemistry behind chocolate, but it is largely involved. You see how chocolate blooms, it turns white when it absorbs moisture. You see how chocolate can get moldy, certainly because of the fat in it. Chocolate can burn, certainly milk chocolate. The milk solids in milk chocolate can burn. Chocolate, when you add a drop of water to melted chocolate, it seizes and turns into grainy stuff. This is very delicate. So to temper chocolate, not just melt chocolate, tempering is melting it in a very concerted effort to bring it to 100 to 110 degrees. This is where the crystals in the chocolate will take on a certain structure that will enable it to stay crispy and hard and be a chocolate coating. When my water starts to come to a nice soft simmer here, not a violent boil again, nice soft simmer, I'm going to put my bowl on top, and again notice the bowl much bigger than the pot underneath because I don't want liquid moisture to come into the bowl. I've got a cup and another third that I've held aside of chocolate. Chocolate chips work well because they're all the same size. And you can see as it melts, first it gets very muddy, pasty, and grainy. This is before it starts to turn liquid, and now I feel it getting stuck a little bit more to the bottom of the bowl. As it starts to melt, I'm going to take it off. I don't need all that heat. I want to do this as gently as I can. Tempering chocolate allows us to keep it really shiny and smooth. That's what we're looking for, shiny and smooth, not muddy and grainy like this. All right, now when I see my chocolate is a spreadable type paste, I think I'm starting to get close to that temperature. How do I drop the temperature of the chocolate? Well, I've got some of the cold chocolate here. I kept a third of a cup back, and now either your chopped up chocolate from your chocolate bar or a little bit more of the cold chocolate, the unmelted chocolate. What this will do is the melted chocolate takes on the characteristics of the unmelted chocolate. It's all about containing and controlling the crystals in the chocolate. So having the melted chocolate be able to take on the characteristics of the solid chocolate is going to help us in our tempering, dropping the temperature a little bit. And you can see I put some chips in there, and they're already melted by the residual heat. So let me put a few more chips in there. Mix it around and then take the temperature of the chocolate again. When all those chips are melted, I should be much closer to 100 degrees or so, which is what I want for tempering. Again, remember, tempering is not just melting the chocolate, it is melting the chocolate to a precise 10-degree range. And one of the great things about chocolate is it melts in your mouth. Your mouth 98.6, chocolate starts melting around 96 degrees or so in your mouth, and that's what makes it such a great treat. But if your mouth was 130 degrees, you wouldn't taste the chocolate the same way. It would be very pasty. And now look what I've got, a real nice shiny chocolate. The moisture coming out of it, that shine is what I'm looking for tempering items. So having brought my original melted chocolate to 110 degrees, it was 1 cup originally, now a third of a cup. Seeding the rest of it should bring this right down to the temperature that I want. And look how nice and shiny it is now, and glossy. That's your key as to whether it tempers well or not. Now I know my chocolate is tempered well because after just a few minutes, the chocolate that was on my thermometer, it's hard now. It's not sticky. If your chocolate after a few minutes is still sticky, you haven't tempered it correctly. You need a little bit more heat, and you need to seed it with some cold chocolate. About a third is your seeding. So if you use a cup to melt, a third of a cup to seed. If you use a pound to melt the chocolate, a third of a pound to seed it so that the crystals are dictated. And look what I've got here again, this really nice, smooth, shiny chocolate.